My name is Marcus Cole, and for 6 years I have been a cargo handler on Kesh Station, a trading post at the edge of known space. I am human, and here, humans are not important people. We carry boxes, we fix machines, we do the jobs that other species do not want to do. Most aliens on this station do not even look at me twice. To them, I am just another pair of hands moving crates from one ship to another. I used to be a soldier. That was a long time ago, before the war ended and my side did not win as much as we hoped. After that, I came here, to this metal station floating between worlds, and I started a new life, a quiet life, or so I thought. Everything changed on an ordinary Tuesday. There was trouble at Dock 9, security lights were flashing red, and I heard shouting over the station radio. Smugglers, they said. A deal gone wrong. I was not supposed to go near that dock, but a supply crate I was tracking had rolled in that direction, so I followed it, because that was my job. By the time I got there, the fighting was over. Station security had already taken control. 2 alien traders lay unconscious on the floor, tied up and waiting for the authorities. Crates were scattered everywhere, some broken open, spilling strange goods across the floor. One crate caught my eye. It was different from the others. It had cooling vents and a small viewing window, like a machine meant to keep something alive during a long journey. A cryo crate. The label said it was marked for disposal, damaged in the fight, no longer needed. I do not know why I walked over to it. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was something deeper, something I could not explain even to myself. I wiped the frost off the window and looked inside. 2 eyes looked back at me. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding. Inside the crate was a child, an alien child, with pale blue skin and large golden eyes, shaking from the cold, or from fear, or both. She could not have been more than 6 years old, if her species aged anything like ours. I did not think. I just acted. I found the release latch and pulled it open. The girl fell forward, and I caught her before she hit the ground. She was so light, like she had not eaten in days. She did not speak. She just stared at me, trembling, clutching my jacket with small, cold hands. A security officer nearby glanced over and said, "Just another piece of cargo. Log it and send it to processing." Processing. I knew what that word meant on a station like this. It meant paperwork, waiting rooms, and eventually, being sent somewhere with no guarantee of safety. Smuggled children who ended up in processing rarely had happy endings. Nobody would ask too many questions. Nobody would follow up. She would become a number in a file, and then she would disappear. I could not let that happen. I do not know why, but in that moment, something in me decided she was not going to become a forgotten file. I found her already assigned to a shipment under my name. I lied, holding the girl closer. Paperwork error. I will handle it. The officer looked too tired to argue. He shrugged and walked away, and just like that, nobody stopped me. I carried her back to my small living quarters, and that was the moment my life truly changed. For the first few days, she would not eat much, and she would not sleep unless I sat nearby. She flinched at loud sounds and stayed close to the walls, like she was still trying to hide inside a crate. I did not know her language, she did not know mine. We were 2 strangers from different worlds, brought together by something neither of us had chosen. I started with small things. I showed her how the food dispenser worked. I gave her a soft blanket from my bunk. I hummed old songs my mother used to sing when I could not think of anything else to do. Slowly, so slowly, she began to relax. One evening, I was fixing a small drone I used for cargo scans, and she sat beside me, watching closely. I handed her a tool, just to see what she would do. She turned it over carefully in her small hands, studying it like it was the most fascinating thing in the galaxy. Then she looked up at me and smiled. It was the first smile I had seen from her. After that, she followed me everywhere. She watched me sort crates, check manifests, and repair equipment. She learned fast, faster than I expected. Within weeks, she could point to numbers on a cargo screen and understand what they meant, even without knowing the language fully. I asked a friend of mine, a station linguist named Priya, to help me understand what species she was and where she might have come from. Priya ran some scans and looked through old records. "She is not from any world we trade with directly," Priya told me one day. "Her markings suggest she belongs to a noble family from a distant system, a house that fell out of power recently from what I can find. This could explain why she was being moved secretly. That explained a lot. Someone had taken her, likely for ransom, or worse, to erase any trace of her family's bloodline. A few days later, the girl started calling me something. At first, I thought it was just a sound she made, but she repeated it every time she saw me, tugging at my sleeve and smiling. Da, da, I asked Priya to translate it. She looked at me for a long moment before answering. It means dad. In her language, it is not a casual word. It is something a child says only to someone they trust completely. I did not know what to say. I had never had children of my own. I had never expected to. But something about hearing that word, spoken so simply and so honestly, settled deep into my chest. I did not correct her. I let her call me that. And somewhere along the way, without meaning to, I started thinking of her the same way. I named her Alara, after a star I used to look at during long cargo runs. She liked the name. She would point at the stars through the station windows and say it back to me, like it was a secret we shared. For a while, life on the station became almost peaceful. I still worked long shifts, hauling crates and repairing machines, but now, I had a reason to hurry home. Alara would be waiting, eager to show me some new words she had learned, or some drawings she had made, using old cargo labels and a marker. But peace on a trading station rarely lasts. One afternoon, station security called me to the main office. Two important-looking visitors were waiting there, wearing formal robes I did not recognize. They introduced themselves as representatives from a distant system, searching for a missing child connected to a noble family dispute. My stomach dropped. They asked polite questions at first, but their eyes were sharp, calculating. I told them I did not know what they were talking about. I do not think they believed me. That night, I noticed something odd. Ships that did not usually dock at Kesh Station began arriving. Strangers walked through the corridors, asking quiet questions to shopkeepers and workers. I recognized the pattern immediately. It was reconnaissance. Someone was searching, carefully and quietly, for Alara. I could not let them find her. I went to station security, hoping for help, but the officer in charge just sighed. Marcus, this is above our authority. If a noble house from another system is involved, we cannot interfere. Our best option is to hand over any information we have and let diplomats sort it out. I understood his position, but I also understood what sorting it out usually meant for someone as small and unimportant as a cargo handler with an unofficial guardian claim. I would be pushed aside, and Alara would be taken by people who had already shown they did not care about her safety. I decided I would protect her myself, using the only advantages I had. I was not a diplomat. I was not a soldier anymore. But I was something else, something these outsiders did not understand. I was a cargo handler. I knew this station better than anyone. For 6 years, I had walked every hallway, checked every storage bay, and mapped every maintenance duct while doing my job. I knew which corridors were rarely watched, which cargo lifts moved slowest, and which docking bays had blind spots in their camera systems. To most people, this knowledge seemed boring, unimportant. But to someone trying to move unnoticed through a busy station, it was priceless. That night, I gathered Alara, wrapped her in a warm cloak, and we moved. I used old service tunnels that ran beneath the main corridors, paths meant for maintenance workers, not important visitors. I rerouted a shipment of medical supplies to create confusion at one of the main checkpoints, giving us time to slip past unnoticed. I used my access codes, meant for hauling freight, to open doors that strangers would need special permission to pass through. At one point, we came close to being discovered. Two of the strangers stood near a junction I needed to cross. I ducked into a supply closet, holding Alara close, my heart hammering in my chest. She did not make a sound. She trusted me completely, and that trust gave me strength. When the strangers moved on, I let out a breath I did not realize I was holding. We reached a quiet storage bay near the edge of the station, one used mostly for damaged equipment awaiting repair. It was not a permanent hiding place, but it gave us time. It was there that the leader of the search party finally found us. He was tall, wearing formal robes marked with symbols of authority. He looked at me with clear disdain, the same look most important visitors gave workers like me. "You are just a cargo handler," he said, his voice full of disbelief. "How did you evade my best trackers?" I stood between him and Alara, unwilling to move. "I move things through this station every single day," I said. Nobody pays attention to cargo handlers. That is exactly why I know every hidden path better than your scanners do. He studied me for a long moment, clearly unused to being outmaneuvered by someone he considered unimportant. She belongs to a powerful family, he said. Her safety is not your concern. She is my daughter, I said, and for the first time, I said it without hesitation. Whatever happened to her family, she trusts me. I am not handing her over to strangers, no matter how important they claim to be. Before things could escalate further, station security finally arrived, having tracked the unusual activity through the station's systems. Along with them came another figure, an elder from Ilara's own species, someone who had been quietly investigating the situation from the shadows for weeks, trying to find allies who still supported her family's true bloodline. The elder studied Ilara closely, then looked at me. She is truly safe, the elder said, seeming surprised. And she trusts you completely. That is rare, especially after what she has been through. The tension in the room slowly eased, documents were checked, identities confirmed, and after much discussion, it was revealed that the elder represented allies still loyal to Ilara's family, working quietly to ensure she was protected from those who wished to erase her bloodline for their own gain. The formal representatives who had first arrived were, in fact, working for a rival house, and their intentions were finally exposed. Ilara was declared safe under interstellar protective law, but there remained the question of what would happen next. Officials suggested she be sent to a distant system to be raised among her own people, in comfort and safety. Ilara refused. She held onto my hand, refusing to let go, speaking quickly in her own language to the elder. I could not understand every word, but I understood the meaning clearly enough. She did not want to leave me. After days of discussion, negotiation, and paperwork that felt endless, an agreement was finally reached. I was granted formal guardianship over Ilara, recognized not just by station law, but by the surviving members of her family's alliance. It was an unusual arrangement, a human cargo handler, bonded by ancient customs to a child of noble blood, but nobody argued against it. Not after everything we had been through together. Life on Kesh Station continued much as it always had. I still wake up early every morning. I still load and unload cargo, moving crates from one ship to another, day after day. People still see me the same way they always have, just another worker, unimportant in the grand scale of galactic politics. But now, every evening, when my shift ends, there is a small hand waiting to grab mine as we walk home together. There is a voice that calls me Dad, filled with warmth and trust that I never expected to find in this life. They can call me just a cargo handler if they want. I know the truth. I am something far more important than that now, and nothing in this galaxy could ever convince me otherwise.